Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Bullet on Fire 12 and welcome to some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Now in today's video, I'm going to talk about the COD franchise. The COD franchise is very big, and over the years they've made loads and loads of different games. And there's so many different things about these games which are really good. But on the other hand, there are problems with these games, and that started to get me thinking, what are some of the biggest problems with the COD franchise? Now I've thought about it for a bit, and in this video I'm going to talk about the things which I think are some of the biggest problems with the COD franchise. And if you think I've missed anything out, leave it down in the comment section below because I'd love to hear about it. But I'm going to begin with the COD franchise doesn't really support their game very well after the next one comes out. Now this has been true to form so much over the years. It's only been until Advanced Warfare where things have changed. But in the past, let's take Modern Warfare 2 for example. So Infinity Ward makes that game, then the next year we have Treyarch with Black Ops 1. Now during Black Ops 1's life cycle, Infinity Ward might be updating Modern Warfare 2 a little bit with double XP weekends here and there, but not so much, because they're working on Modern Warfare 3. When that game then comes out, Modern Warfare 2 really isn't updated a whole lot, and the support for that game is kind of just gone. It's just lost. And then the problems come with hackers and people putting mods in the game, and then you can't really play it very well anymore. It's only been until Advanced Warfare where that's kind of changed. Even though Advanced Warfare's life cycle has ended now, it's still got loads of support during the Black Ops 3 life cycle. They still added in double XP weekends, they constantly added in new gear, more weapons, and that's been going on with the other games as well. Currently Infinite Warfare's the current COD, but there's still been new weapons into the Black Ops 3 game. And I'm sure there's been double XP weekends as well. So ever since Advanced Warfare, the support for the games after their life cycle has been getting better. But unfortunately this wasn't like that in the past. Realistically, that should have always been the case. Because if you go back to some of the really old CODs, sometimes it's very unpredictable. You've seen my What's COD 4 like in 2016 video, and my What's Modern Warfare 2 like in 2017 video. It's very unpredictable. If they just kept the support exactly the same, even if it's just a small team, just protecting the game, just stopping people from hacking, just stopping people from doing whatever they want to do, just letting the game just be the game it always was during its current life cycle, the game would be a lot better. But unfortunately, the COD franchise decided not really to support their games very well. Once that life cycle had ended, then hackers just got in and they just didn't care about it anymore, and now it's just a battle of just trying to play the game on a good day, because sometimes you're just not going to have any luck at all, which is really a shame because there's some really great games out there and they're just unplayable now. The next problem I'd like to talk about with the COD franchise is the spawn system. I've always found the spawn system to not be very perfect, if I'm honest. In the older games, for example, if you're playing domination, if your team has the A and the B flag and the other team is just stuck on the C flag, the other team has to really push out of the C spawn area, otherwise they are literally just stuck there and they just can't get out. But that's changed with more of the newer CODs. The spawn system flips a little bit more, so then that spawn trapping doesn't happen. But the problem with that is, it's a lot more random. And sometimes you have the situation where people spawn in front of you, or you have people spawn behind you. You could just kill someone, and then all of a sudden they spawn right behind you, and then they kill you, because the spawn system is now a lot more random. They really need to try and find that perfect balance in the spawn system. You've got one spawn system where you're constantly being trapped all the time, and the other one is just random, you can just spawn anywhere. I've not found a COD game that's got that perfect spawn system. That's why I think it's one of the biggest problems with the franchise, because they just can't find that perfect balance for a spawn system. The next problem has to go to supply drops, which has been a big problem ever since Advanced Warfare. They add new weapons into the game, they put it in supply drops, and unfortunately doing that, there's such a small chance of you getting a good weapon that you want. I've heard people talk about this in their videos, and they could spend something like $300 on supply drops, hoping to get a new weapon, and you would think that if they brought out 3 new weapons, $300 would cover it all, but no. Some of these people either don't get any new supply drop weapon that they want, or they only get one of them, and it might be like the worst weapon out of the 3 that got brought out in that update. It's ridiculous. And you think about how pricey they are, they're not exactly cheap, especially with the little chance that you get for something that's very good as well. It's just not worth it. It would be a lot better if they could just put it back to the old way, where you could just buy them individually as a microtransaction. But unfortunately, supply drops have just been stuck in every game since Advanced Warfare. However, I have heard that Infinite Warfare does have another alternative to you earning a new weapon. Instead of doing it in supply drops, you can do like a special challenge, and then if you complete that challenge, then you'll receive the weapon that way, which is much fairer than just relying on supply drops to get the weapon. I definitely think if you're going to put supply drops in the game, at least have like another alternative for people to earn the new weapons, because just relying on supply drops just isn't good enough. The next problem I'm going to talk about is quickscoping. Now, this is just my opinion, but I just don't like quickscoping at all. All these things that these snipers do, where they like climb up to like a tall building or something, and then they spin around and just try and kill someone before they land at the ground. I've never been a fan of it. Ever since this kind of thing happened in Modern Warfare 2 with the whole sleight of hand pro thing, where you could aim down your sniper really quickly, I've found it to be just an annoyance, really. I think it's just a broken mechanic, which they just can't fix. Because I just hate it when you're walking around the battlefield, and then all of a sudden a sniper will just come out of nowhere and just immediately kill you. That's not how a sniper should be used. I use a sniper for long range kills or being stealthy. That's what they're meant for. But now all you can do is just use them as if it's a normal gun, which I've hated. They tried to fix it in Black Ops 1. It didn't work though. And unfortunately, it's just something that we've just had to kind of deal with. I've never been a fan of it, and I never will be a fan of it. That's why I definitely think it's one of the biggest problems with the COD franchise. And the final thing I'm going to talk about is the DLC. I think the DLC needs to be changed, because it's great to buy DLC when it's in its current prime in the life cycle. But unfortunately, as soon as the game becomes old, the DLC becomes pointless. Because after a while, if you're trying to play multiplayer, for example, trying to find a game will become very difficult because lobbies will become hard to find. And the best way to fix that problem is just get rid of the DLC, because as soon as you put the DLC on, you're split away from the whole player base, because you're only going to be paired with people who have that DLC. And as soon as the game becomes a lot older, not many people are going to have that DLC. I had to do that with Modern Warfare 2. It just got to a point where I want to play other game modes, not just Team Deathmatch. So eventually I decided, forget it, the DLC is just not worth having anymore, so I uninstalled it. Eventually I'll probably do that with Modern Warfare 3 as well. But with the plus side with Modern Warfare 3, and I think all COD games should have this, they should have a disable button. Because in Modern Warfare 3, you can just disable the DLC, but unfortunately, with like the Treyarch games, I still have zombie DLC that I still like to play. But unfortunately, it just means that when I go to multiplayer, it's very hard to find a game. If I were to uninstall it, then that wouldn't be a problem. But it's just an annoyance that is a thing. They need to change the DLC system in COD. And one more thing on DLC as well, the prices for it. If you look at the PSN store or the Xbox Live store or whatever it is called on Xbox, if you look at a DLC for, Modern Warfare 2, for example, the price will always stay the same. Think about how old Modern Warfare 2 is now. Do you really want to be paying like £11 something, or whatever it is, for the DLC for Modern Warfare 2? The game is really old now, yet the price always stays the same. And it's the same with all the CODs. It's ridiculous, really. I don't know why, after a while, the price should just drop, or just become free. Because who's going to pay over £10 for a DLC for a game that's really old? No one's going to do it. Some people might do it, and to be fair, I've done that as well. I've only recently bought the DLC that's got the moon map for Black Ops 1 because I never bought it, but I wanted to play on the moon map. But not many people will be paying for those DLC because the game's old. That's why the price should go down, or it should just be free altogether. And that's why I think it's one of the biggest problems with the COD franchise. Those are some of the things that I think are like the biggest problems with this COD franchise. And like I said at the start of the video, if there's anything that you think that I've missed, leave it down in the comment section below. But I'm going to end off this video now, so I hope you've all enjoyed it. And if you've liked it, remember to leave a like, rating and subscribe if you are new. But for now, it is goodbye from me. but I shall see all of you guys very soon with my next video. So take care guys, and goodbye.